Welcome to my second adventures game here. Hopefully the audio is better on this one. I know the first video the audio wasn't that great. This is post commentary because I'm still having trouble with the audio. So I started off as usual by looking at the board, thinking about how best to use the adventures cards here. How can I incorporate them into some kind of strategy? I considered a couple things here. I thought about whether a double tactician was possible, if there was any room for that. And of course, there's some kind of engine with Wharf. There's plenty of actions with Lost City and Crossroads on the board. And I looked at the attacks to Swamp Hag can be oppressive if played every turn. Although on this board there's actually quite a good card to defend against it, which is Trader. So you'll see at some points during the beginning part of this video I sped up a little bit because my opponent asked me some questions about the new cards and how they work and the rules regarding them, etc. So you can follow the text if you like, but this has nothing really to do with the game. It's just me explaining what the various cards and events do. Anyway, I realized that, well, I thought that, you know what, I want to be able to play a giant and have a swamp hog and play every turn. And there's sufficient draw on the board to do this, either through Lost City and Wharf or through Storyteller. And Storyteller is a card that I'm not very comfortable with at all. I don't know how to use it, but it seemed to be okay in this game. I knew I would want a trader, but I didn't want to open with a trader because, and this is the biggest mistake of the game, I didn't want to get rid of my estates because I wanted to inherit Crossroads. I'm saving all my estates into Crossroads, and I thought they would do the lovely things that Crossroads does. But anyway, let's move on into the game here. I open double silver, my opponent opens trader silver. I get double 5 on turns 3 and 4, so I pick up 2 wolves immediately. That was very fortunate for me. In the meantime, my opponent managed to trash a couple of estates, which is also very good for him. His deck is swimming with silver at this point, and he can probably buy anything he wants or she wants to buy at this point. Here you see some more rules explanation here. But anyway, at the start of the game I was hesitant to buy Lost City because I didn't want to give my opponent cards. And I know this is like base set dilemma with Council Room. Do I want to buy this to give my opponent a card? And usually most of the time the answer is yeah, just buy the Council Room, play the Council Room, is no big deal. The benefit you get from Council Room is way more than your opponent gets. But I decided to not pursue Lost Cities just to see how it would be drawing with Storytellers only and using Crossroads as my only source of plus actions. Just to try it. It mightn't be the best thing to do. Anyway, you see that play there where I come up with $7 and inherit Crossroads, and you'll see at some point in the near future the mistake I make with this Inherited Crossroads. So here more explanation is going on, but just to spoil it a bit, the mistake I made with the Inherited Crossroads was thinking that they would all act exactly like the card Crossroads, but they don't. Because of the text on the card Crossroads, it means that only actual Crossroads would give you the +3 actions. Inherited Crossroads will not do that. They will draw you cards, but they won't give you the +3 actions the first time. So you'll see very soon that that I make the mistake, and I was very confused about why that happened, and I even considered it being a glitch in the game or something. But anyway, I purchased my Swamp Hog and Giant here, just trying to see if I could support them The answer is no, most likely not. And the reason I thought that is because I was able to draw my deck a couple turns ago, but I only did that because my opponent bought some lost cities and gave me false sense of what my deck could do. I hadn't realized that my opponent had bought the lost cities. But anyway, the rest of this game is just me building a draw engine with Storyteller and one Wharf in play, one Giant, and one Swamp Hag. So here again I draw my whole deck and I managed to put the Giant in play and I had the duration Swamp Hag. So now at this point I'm trying to add payload to the deck and I'm thinking about what I would need. I saw my opponent go for a Swamp Hag there, which is why I bought the trader now, because I would very much like to block the curses that come in through the Swamp Hag that will eventually be played. And with the Storytellers, the silvers are not bad cards at all. You'll get massive draws of them, and if not, you have a lot of money to spend. Unfortunately, I only have 3 buys, but that's not the worst thing ever in this game. So here I get my second Swamp Hag and another Storyteller. So now I'm really trying to set up the focus of the engine. And there I get a silver off of my trader. And the focus is every turn have a Wharf in play and a Swamp Hag in play. And occasionally come with the Giant attack. Here we see here bad shuffle, of course. I didn't draw any action cards, just straight money. And I went in for a couple of Storytellers because apparently I needed them to draw more cards. Here is where you see I make the mistake, and I will spend some time, clicking Crossroads and then clicking Inheritance, trying to figure out, wait, why is it that this thing did not give me 3 actions? Because I was gonna play Swamp Hag, play Giant, and perhaps trash that copper with the trader. However, that did not turn out, and I was still confused at this point as to why. And now I have these estates here, these pseudo crossroads, and I don't want to play them because I know that they'll fail to give me plus actions. So what I should have done as soon as I realized this is to get another crossroads in the deck immediately, because the whole deck pivots on having the plus 3 actions to play a Wharf, play a Swamp Hag, and play a Giant. If you don't find that crossroads, you can't do those things. You can't apply that continuous pressure. So here, let's see, what did I buy? I bought a quest and a Storyteller. Naturally, I only had $5 at that point. So you'll see a couple mixed turns here where I have a lot of money sometimes with these Storyteller draws, and sometimes I do have a lot of money. This Storyteller I chose to spend the maximum amount just to get the draw going, and then hopefully use the rest of the money to buy things. Now here you see me gesture towards the 5 Storytellers. I was thinking maybe this is not efficient at all. Have all these unused Storytellers. Am I using the card wrong? Did I, not build correctly? Anyways, I get more Storytellers anyway, just to be stable and safe. And I buy a quest here, discarding 6 cards, gaining a gold off of it. By the way, the province count is, I think, 3 to my opponent and 1 to me. In the meantime, though, I've been able to put some curses in their deck with the Swamp Hag and the Giant. So, I mean, that's something, that's the only advantage I have, and I have to play to it, that the curses and the green cards will come up their deck and give me enough time to score enough points here. So here you see, again, this apparently inefficient use of Storyteller. I have 2 left over and I used the last 2 or 3 just as cantrips, which is not great, I think. Here I buy triple duchy because I don't want to touch the province pile too much. I need to catch up on points with the duchies first, and I use the trader. This is the point of the trader for me for the whole game, was to bounce those curses from the Swamp Hag back, get me silvers. It gets me draw, It gets me money off the storytellers, allowing this deck to thrive for a very, very long time. Also, something to pay attention to with Storyteller is to remember how much money you have in play. So here, at the start of this turn, I had the Swamp Hag money, plus the Storyteller and the associated treasures with it. So I drew a heap of cards. I was not aware of it at the time, but it is something to be aware of. Here, this is the shuffle where I didn't find my crossroads for a very, very long time, and I realized how much the deck relied on that one crossroads. I had to keep using storytellers to draw until I found that crossroads. I didn't want to spend all this money just drawing. I wanted the crossroads, which was what, the second to last card in the deck or something. So now all this money has been spent. I don't have a lot. So what I decided to do here, what I think I'm considering, is to trash a gold with my trader to get 6 silvers and then use the storyteller to draw it up. So here is where I forget that I have giant for 5 money. So storyteller, without paying any treasures, would draw all 6 silvers. Instead I pay and waste money like that. Here I was thinking of ending the game actually, because I think the last 2 provinces plus a duchy would do it, but I didn't have enough money because I squandered some. And you see me buy a second crossroads here because of the dire need for it. So my opponent gets the second to last province, as I think is the right play there. Not too much to be said about that. And it all depends on whether I can have a decent turn here. But with a storyteller in hand plus a crossroads, I feel safe. So here I pay maximum amount for the storyteller, just trying to draw through as much as possible. But also in the back of my mind, I'm trying to keep money. You see me hesitate here and play the crossroads, the pseudo crossroads here, because I only have big treasures, silvers and golds, and I don't want to spend that on the storytellers. Again, we come to the point of the deck where I use storytellers as cantrips. I mean, if anybody has some way to tell me how to use storyteller better, please, I would love to find out and know how to do that. I played giant just for the 1 coin, and I said, well, you know, I don't have any other play here besides going province double duchy. But it should win because my opponent trashed estates and has a bunch of curses in. And it turned out that way. Anyways, thanks for watching and let me know what you think about this game. And remember the thing with inheritance and crossroads.